Hi, good morning and welcome to our meditation. Today is the 18th of August. I would like to read with you in Revelation chapter 1, verse 17. When I saw him, I fell at his feet as though dead. Then he placed his right hand on me and said, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last." Jesus, when he's revealing himself to John or to one of the prophets, is not doing so just to show off or just to make them to frighten them. No, he's got a purpose in all this. He wants John to see who he is really. John is writing this letter to these churches. The churches as well, they need to understand who Jesus is. Jesus is not just any God. Jesus is the sovereign God, the one who was, who is, and is to come, the Son of God. Other people in the Bible, as they were called into ministry, they also had visions of the Son of God. Moses in chapter 3, verse 1, Exodus chapter 3, verse 1 to 6, we see the description of the revelation of God to Moses. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and come to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, "I will go over and see this strange sight, when the bush does not burn up." When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called him from within the bush, "Moses, Moses." And Moses said, "Here I am." "Do not come any closer," God said. "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." Then he said, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob." At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. He was afraid when he saw God. A very interesting text. In verse 3, in verse 2, it says that it was the angel of the Lord that appeared. But then in verse 4, it's the Lord who is speaking. Who is the angel of God? The angel of the Lord. Who is the angel of the Lord? That's interesting. The angel, when this angel of the Lord appears to Joshua near Jericho, the same. He's going to tell Joshua as well that was holy land because he was there, and Joshua is going to worship the angel of the Lord. In the New Testament, when John is trying to worship an angel, the angel said, "Oh, stop! Don't worship me. Worship God. Only God receives worship." The angel of the Lord received the worship of Joshua. So who is the angel of the Lord? Interesting. Samson's parents also saw the angel of the Lord, and so did Moses here and also Abraham. Who is the angel of the Lord is my question for you today. Isaiah chapter 6 verse 5, when Isaiah had his vision of God in the temple, here is what he's going to say. "Woe to me," I cried, "I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips as well, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty." What do you do when you have a vision of God? When you read the Bible and you see the power of Jesus, what do you do? What is your action? What do you do? All these people, they cried out as Isaiah is doing here. No one, the text doesn't say that the angel of the Lord told Isaiah that he was a sinful person. Just by seeing the glory of God, he realized that he was unclean. Compared to that light, bright light, pure light of the glory of God, he said, "I am unclean." Daniel chapter 10, verse 8 to 12, he also had a vision of the angel of the Lord. "So I was left alone, gazing at this great vision." If you read the beginning of chapter 10, you see that the vision that Daniel said, the description of the Son of Man, of God in that text, of God's messenger, it's very close to the one that John had in the book of Revelation. "So I was left alone, gazing at this great vision. I had no strength left. My face turned deathly pale, and I was helpless. Then I heard him speaking, and I listened to him. I fell into a deep sleep, my face to the ground. A hand touched me and set me trembling on my hands and knees. He said, Daniel, you who are highly esteemed, consider carefully the words I'm about to speak to you, and stand up, for I have now been sent to you. And when he said this to me, I stood up trembling still. Then he continued, do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. Why he has come? Because it is in response to Daniel's prayer. Daniel is praying according to God's will. He is concerned about the future of his own people. These are the people from whom God is going to bring his Messiah, and they're still in deportation. So what's going on? What's going to happen? He's praying, he's fasting, he's weak. He has a vision of the messenger of God. And that is going to change everything in his life, in his ministry, in his life. The same thing happened to Moses. The same thing happened to Abraham, to Isaiah, and to John. And the same thing should happen to us as well. The message of God in this text, as we see in Revelation chapter 1:17 and also in Daniel, is that do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. And that's what God is telling us this morning as well. Do not be afraid. And in the book of Revelation, it says, because I am the first and the last. I am. That's the message of God for us today. Of course, we see wars, viruses, all these horrible things happening in the world today, and we are afraid. But here they're not afraid of because there is a terrible situation in their country. They are afraid because they have seen the Lord. They had a vision of the Almighty One. But God is telling us, do not be afraid. From the beginning to the end, I'm there. And he is a sovereign God. Nothing is impossible with him, and he's going to accomplish the will of his righteousness to the end. He is a God of love, a God of grace, and he's with us today. God bless you.